And welcome back to Hot and Cold Podcast. We got a very special episode for you today. It is me along with Connor today. Connor, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How are you?
I won't ask for the sake of yourself what I have been asking the past couple of podcasts, but
Thank
let's
you.
not talk about that. We're a basketball podcast. But yeah, let's just get into the sponsor. I won't even bring it up. Sorry for bringing this. Sorry for bringing up that I won't bring it up, Connor. I know you are hurting on the inside right now, but I won't bring it up. Promise I won't. All right, let's get into the sponsor, shall we? All right, so I had an adrenaline shock yesterday. Shocker, right? But I did have an adrenaline shock. Guess what flavor I had? It's random. It's a random one I haven't had in a minute.
Watermelon?
No, not watermelon. It was acai. Acai berry.
Okay.
Acai berry. It is very good. The purple one, very good. It's the flavor of the week. It's flavor of the week this week. Let's get that started. Let's get that rolling. But seriously, go get your A-Shocks. 300 milligrams of caffeine, best energy drink on the market. Let's get going. So today we have a few topics for you. You notice how my voice isn't as excited as it has been in the past couple of podcasts? Yeah, because Kentucky lost the recruiting battle for the number 2 player in the country to Duke. We'll get into that in a second. In the second segment, we will be talking about we're gonna do this for each and every power conference. I don't know how far we'll get into it. I don't know if we want to stretch into the AAC. I don't know if we want to stretch into, like the Mountain West. The Mountain West has some good teams, but we'll see. It depends, and we want to get some guests going on this. But I thought for the first one, let's just do it on our own. We're gonna do Big Ten power rankings today, along with Coach of the Year, Rookie or Freshman of the Year, not Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. I'm assuming, and I hope, or else this will be a terrible podcast, that me and Connor's lists are vastly different. Correct? Wouldn't you say
Yes.
that? You don't know my list. I don't know yours, but it's
Yeah,
vastly
we have no idea.
different. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But what were you going to say? You're about to say something.
They'll be different. I think they'll be different.
Did you take some liberties?
No.
No liberties.
None. I don't think so. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, but
fair enough. So let's get into the most pressing topic. Maybe the reason you clicked, maybe not. Dereck Lively, the number 2 player in the class, coming in next year, 7'2", massive human being, can stretch it. Great player, seriously a great player. So I'm not going to spin this into why it's like a positive for Kentucky. It's not. He is arguably the number 1 player in this class. I think people thought that he would be, and then Shane Sharp took his jump, and then now we're here. Now he's committed to Duke. He was a Kentucky lean for a long time. Kentucky was the favorite for Dereck Lively for a long time. He decides he's going to commit today. I think on the last podcast, I said that Dereck Lively would last into the spring, and he decided to commit September 20th. Everybody thought it was Kentucky. After he announced his commitment, it obviously switched to Duke. It just flipped out of nowhere. I don't know the behind the scenes. You can probably go listen to Jack Pilgrim, Sean Smith. They'll have the behind the scenes, whatever. But this hurts. This hurts. It does. As a Kentucky fan, this hurts. I thought this would be the missing piece for the class. This would be the guy that they brought in. But now the Tide, they have to shift their focus to a Dembona. I'm not saying a Dembona is a bad player. I'm just saying he is not what Dereck Lively is. But this is what I want. This is probably the biggest storyline from this. Kentucky had the momentum in recruiting for a long time. They did. They brought in Shane Sharp. They brought in Chris Livingston. Things are looking great for Case and Wallace. And now that Dereck Lively has gone elsewhere, I'm not saying it's gone, but Duke is here. Duke is back. Duke is back in recruiting. This is seriously what it was, 6 years ago when it was Kentucky versus Duke for every top 5 recruit. And we're back to that. And it is interesting that Coach K is no longer there. Coach K is no longer recruiting these kids in. Maybe he's sitting in, I don't know. but this is Jon Scheyer's team now. What they're recruiting for is Jon Scheyer's team. So Connor, is Jon Scheyer going to keep this thing rolling for the future?
I mean, I would think so. Even if Coach K isn't going to like be there, who knows? You think he's in these recruiting? I don't know if he's there or not. I don't know if he's on these Zoom calls. I would assume no, honestly.
Right. Right.
I'm going to think no. So I would say it's sustainable. Man, I'm watching some of these highlights.
Oh no, don't bring it up, man. These were highlights that were supposed to be my highlights.
It's a Kentucky YouTube account too, which is even funnier.
Oh, that hurts so much, man.
Dude, and Duran were on the same team.
Yeah. And Amoni at one point.
That's not even fair.
Team final was so ridiculous in the EYBL circuit. It was crazy. But I mean, for Duke has now secured, or not secured, but they now have the number 1 recruiting class in the country.
Hold on. Is Ty on this team?
No. Different green. Ty's on Arizona. He was on Arizona Compass.
Okay. There's a dude that looks just like him. It's like, but man, how does Ty not get these guys for Kentucky?
But
never mind.
Yeah,
go on.
It is concerning though, because look, I know I'm not going to look too far into who has the number 1 overall class, because Kentucky has had the number 1 overall class, a couple times in the past couple of years. It hasn't really translated into anything crazy. So I'm not going to look too far into that. But from, kind of who's back is Kentucky back standpoint, them not having the number 1 class does kind of hurt. And Duke having it definitely hurts. So, I mean, we're gonna see what happens. There's no way to spin it. I mean, a Dimbona, I'm assuming if I had to put money down, I'd put it on him coming to Kentucky very quickly, because I think it was Kentucky being very hesitant to recruit him because they knew they had Lively, or they thought they had Lively coming in. So we'll see. And look, I'm not saying a Dimbona is a terrible player. In his own respect, he's very good at what he does, but he does not have the versatility that Lively does. Lively could stretch it. Like I said, he could block any shot in the world. Like, it's a tough thing to lose. Like in college, here's what, Connor, I know you're just now watching his highlight tape, but what Lively could be, he could average like Anthony Davis type block numbers in college, as well as have a jump shot, which is hard to let go to the, the Blue Devils. That's not something I like. That's not something that makes me happy.
This hurts the podcast brand, because now we have to hate him. Well, I don't personally, but you hate him now.
I have to hate him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because I liked him a lot in high school. Like, I thought he was one of my favorite players to watch in high school. If I had to throw in a highlight tape, it's Shaden Sharp. It's Dereck.
Yeah.
I just can't watch it. I just can't watch it. I just can't watch it anymore. It sucks. It sucks, man. It sucks. But congratulations to him. Let's move on with the podcast. And now this is all doom and gloom, but Kentucky's fine. Also, I will end it with this. Kentucky is fine. The recruiting class is still going to be great. This offseason has still been a W, and next offseason as well already has been a W.
Hold on. If they miss on a Dimbona, then what? Is it a problem?
Yes, absolutely a problem.
Like, I just saw an article that he went to Kansas and said the culture was one of a kind. So I didn't know. Maybe he's going to be like a Jalen Duran, Kofi Coburn kind of deal here, and they miss them both. Could Cal do that again? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. You don't even want to think about that.
I don't even want to think about that right now. That is not something like, let's get into these Big Ten power rankings, shall we? Oh my God. This is what sucks about being a Kentucky fan. And you saw it this offseason with me. we had one of the best off seasons we've had in years, right? This offseason.
Yes.
We brought in Kellen Grady, we brought in Ty Washington, we brought in Oscar Tshiebwe was before, but it's the same concept. And then we miss on Kofi and Jalen.
Yeah.
And then it's like everything before that never happened. And then I'm just that much more upset, even though all of that stuff already happened. So
just before we move on, I want to make sure our listeners know that the reason Lively is a Duke is on you. It's your fault.
wait. It's on me?
The ultimate jinx.
Oh,
that might
tweet
be
was
the
pretty bad.
biggest jinx I have ever seen in my life. And as a person who has told me multiple times not to tweet things like that, I mean, you literally tweeted, Kentucky has had one top 5 recruit since the 2016 class. If Dereck Lively commits, they will have 3 in the 2021 class alone. Cal and the boys are killing it. So looks like this whole Lively recruitment is coming together earlier than we thought. God, I mean, just went on a little spree there. I
got excited. I got like all I can say is I got excited. I added the if.
I can't blame you.
I added the if.
Oh, but you were not implying the if, because you wouldn't be tweeting about it if you didn't think it was going to happen.
Correct. But at that, like when I tweeted that, there was no reason for me to believe that he was going anywhere other than Kentucky.
All the predictions had Kentucky.
All the predictions had Kentucky until
they were all wrong.
Until after I tweeted that.
Literally,
as soon as I tweeted that, the momentum shifted.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll shoulder the blame for this. I will never tweet another thing about Cal and the boys, because that Cal and the boys, that is gonna live in infamy.
Yes.
As what killed our program. So I'm not gonna say it again. But whatever. Let's just get it going. We got this Big Ten. We got this Big Ten power rankings that we got to do. I will say, this is very new to us. Like like seriously, I want to do this for a lot of conferences, but this first one, we don't have an outline for how we're going to go at it. So I think we just kind of do.
I think
you just want to go.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I just do it. Like go through the teams. We can agree, disagree, and go from there.
Let's go. Let's see. You want to go like 4? Let's do the bottom 7 first.
Gotcha.
For each of us. So you do your bottom 7, then I'll do mine.
All right. At 14, I have Minnesota. They lost a lot, lost the coach. They're going to suck.
They're going to be terrible. So that is mine as well. They lost our guy to Vandy, the guy we can't think of his name, so I'm just going to look him up. They lost him.
Still don't know his name.
They lost Marcus Carr. They're going to be terrible. They're going to be a bad basketball team.
Tried to get Race Thompson. We're going to get him if he left.
And then what happened? Liam Robbins.
Robbins. That's what it is.
Then what happened? Who swept in?
Mike Woodson.
There you go.
Mike Evan Woodson. 13, I have Northwestern. I don't think Northwestern is going to be good. They still have Boo Booey, our favorite. And Chase Audige, she's pretty good. But other than that, they are not good. Fell for the banana in the tailpipe last year.
I know that was my worst jinx. I think.
Yes.
That was my worst jinx.
I tried to cover up the Indiana loss to them, and it was not good. Someone just opened my door.
That was Bryson. Making an appearance. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. This podcast is so off the rails, but this is amazing. Go ahead.
After that, I have Penn State. Again, don't think they're going to be good either. New coach, he's good though. They've got some players coming in, so they could be a get into that top 10.
Mhm.
Nebraska is in it at 10 for me, or no, 11. Sorry. I don't know how you feel about Nebraska because I like their coach.
I
think
how
I
I
do.
feel about Nebraska. Spoiler alert, I have them at 12. Nebraska has brought in a couple of recruits this year. They maybe have some potential to upset a team in the Big
Yeah.
Ten. I'll put them on upset alert for like a random top 5 team in the Big Ten. But
Mm-hmm.
like they brought in Bryce McGowan. He's going to be very good. He's a good player.
Yeah.
They just suck. They just have this curse around them. It's the Nebraska curse. Like it's the same thing in football. I just can't get that out of my head. So I have them at 12 as well. Although they do, like, on paper, their roster isn't terrible. It's not. I'll grant them that, but it's just
So we have the same bottom 4 then, just in a little bit different order.
No,
What?
we do not. Keep going. Keep going. All right. Well, let's go by 4s then. Let's go by 4s. That may make the most sense. I have Minnesota at 14.
Yeah.
I have Penn State at 13.
Okay.
Nebraska at 12. Wisconsin at 11. I think Wisconsin is going to be a very, very bad team.
They're at 10 for me, so it's not a big deal.
Extremely bad team.
Okay, so you're putting them in that because there's always those last 4 teams in the Big Ten that you're like, man, they really are not.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, they're
lost. in that tier right now.
They lost way too many players, like way too many players for me to put them anywhere above that.
That's risky, man. I don't like having them at 10 because
you think it's too low because it's Wisconsin.
They're going to get 18 to 20 wins just because they win home games.
That's true. They do win home. Like
they do it every year.
Pencil them in for maybe. Yeah, they're going to beat a couple teams they shouldn't at home. Like they'll beat Indiana at home. Like, sorry, they will.
IU hasn't won there in ages.
you just got to pencil that one in. You know, they may beat like in Illinois at home, just stuff like that. So, but I do have them at 11 because I think they're going to be awful. I'll put in my next 4. I have Northwestern at 10. I am a little bit higher on them than you are just because Boo Buie is
he's good. He is good.
Very good. He's very good. Yeah, they don't have Miller Kopp. Yes, I fell for them last year, but they still have Boo Buie, so they still have my heart. Michigan State at 9.
Wow.
9. Very, very, very low on my list. They've lost Aaron Henry. They lost Rocket Watts. They brought in Max Christie, but I don't think that's enough to have a competitive team again. And Michigan State hasn't competed in a fairly long time. So I got them at 9. Iowa at 8. Wow. Iowa at 8. I can't say that. They only have Jordan Bohannon back. Bringing back that freshman from last year. Remind me of his name. Keegan Murray is his name. He is a good player. So I do expect some wins from Iowa. I think they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to be, catastrophically bad. But, I mean, it's hard to replace losing, Weiskamp, Frederick, and Garza in the same offseason. So that's not on them. It was just a tough offseason for them.
I'm going to correct. Weiskamp. Come on.
Weiskamp. It's the same thing. I can't say names. And Indiana at 7. That I know that hurts your heart. But I mean, it's an improvement from last year. I think they have an improved roster from last year. I still have trouble. Look, Wooden's got to prove it to me. I think he's done a great job so far, but it's hard for me to put them above some of these teams ahead of them. It's just, and if they do prove it, then I will gladly move them up the list. I'm serious. There's no bias put into having them at 7. It's just tough for me to put them above some of these teams that are. So go ahead.
Okay. Wow.
I did see. I love this segment already. This is becoming very contentious very quickly.
I have Wisconsin at 10.
Okay.
I like you said, they're not going to be very good. I don't know
They're
if they're
gonna
in that.
suck.
I don't know if they're in that bottom tier, but they're not
Yeah.
what they used to be. Iowa at 9.
Yeah.
Like you said, they lost a significant amount of players. Bohannon, weirdest coming back TikTok of all time. Let's not talk about what it was, but weird, really weird. Number 8, I have Rutgers. I really thought Geo Baker would leave. He is back for one more year. It's between him and Bohannon for my least favorite player in the Big Ten. I don't know who it is. And then after that, I have Michigan State. I think we're both pretty low on Michigan State. I just don't. I think the Amoni Bates thing is gonna hang over them, especially now that he's playing for another team. He's gonna be there.
That's gotta
years.
hurt. That's gotta hurt.
Oh yeah, the momentum in the program took a huge hit from that.
I should have referenced that. Like they are definitely like right now. They're sitting in. Izzo's sitting in his office just blaring Marvin's Room by Drake. It is like a bad breakup happened. And he is feeling that right now because I just can't believe it. It's a SpongeBob meme, Squidward looking out the window, watching Amoni Bates and Penny Hardaway run around.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I would have hated to be at that practice as a player because he was just yelling at dudes for the littlest thing. The littlest things. I mean, I bet that was a brutal practice. For sure.
So yeah, I didn't give that enough credit when I definitely should have.
Yeah.
I definitely should have. Okay. You want to run 6 through 4 real quick, or you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Then we can. All right. Okay.
So next I have Maryland. Okay. I know they made some moves. My hatred for Mark Turgeon.
I know you hate Mark Turgeon. I kind of like him.
I don't know why. I don't know what's to like. Like he just looks like a mean-spirited, angry person. His coaching he's not good at coaching.
That's what I like about him is that he, from an outside fan's perspective, from somebody in the SEC that watches not as much Big Ten basketball as you, but when I see him yelling at Juwan Howard that his banners come down, that is amazing. That is great. See, I like him. I'm not saying I like him as a coach, but that is great stuff right there.
And he was going to get decked by Juwan Howard if there was nobody separating them. I think Juwan Howard would have put him in the hospital.
Yeah,
and would have gotten suspended.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. He would have lost that battle, but he just wanted to let him know that his banners come down. So yeah. I'm on his side. But yeah, go ahead.
I have Indiana next.
I know. Yeah, you'd have if they lasted any longer, I would have had to say something.
You would have really questioned the integrity of the list. Look, I think it's very. So you have, I don't know who you're going to have. I think you have Maryland and Rutgers ahead of Indiana. Is that right? I disagree, but I could see Maryland. Okay. I can agree.
That's fair.
I can agree with Maryland, but Rutgers, I do have a problem with that. That's tough to agree with.
The problem that you have and where I'm coming from is the last memory of both of those programs, or actually not for Rutgers, but the last memory of Indiana was in Lucas Oil Stadium getting embarrassed by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
But they lost 2 important players from that team and didn't replace them.
Sure, yes, but that's why I don't have many higher, but they still have Geo Baker and they still have Ron Harper Jr. One of them is bound to make a jump because there's too much.
No.
There's so much potential.
We've been saying this about Geo Baker for years. Ever since he played he had a good freshman year.
Yeah.
And he has regressed.
Yeah.
He has gotten worse.
I know, but it's so hard for me because I remember from those couple years ago when Rutgers had that huge run, right? You remember that? They had that huge run and they were in the top 25. There is so much potential in both of those two. It just hasn't come to anything yet. And I'm waiting for it to happen. And look, I'm happy I don't bet, because if I did bet, I would have lost so much money on Rutgers just from the fact that they should be good. Like, just looking at those two, they should be good basketball players. They should.
Yes.
But yes, that is why I have them at 6. So
I just ruined your 5. So you have Maryland and Rutgers. Okay.
Yes.
You want to give your top 4 then?
Yeah. So yeah, let's run with that. I have no. I have Illinois at 5.
That's a biased pick.
No, yeah. So I put Illinois at 5 and Maryland at 4. Correct. Yes, that is what I did.
Wow.
Yes. So I think Illinois is coming back. Kofi, he's legitimately going to be in the running for Big Ten Player of the Year. Yes, for sure. Now, Maryland's going to be really freaking good because if you remember when it happened, don't give me that face. You remember when it happened? I was all over Maryland. They got Fats Russell. I've been huge on Fats Russell since his days at Rhode Island. Loved it. Probably the best name in the country, but also a great player. Qudus Wuhab is an animal. He is he is 7 foot, 250. He is going to push people around, probably everybody in the country except Kofi Coburn, but that's what's going to make them a great team. They have an anchor around. Eric Ayala is back. It would have been better if Morcell came back, but he's not back. I'm just saying this Maryland team is going to be very good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Maybe I'm losing some people a lot of their money right now.
Yes, but you are.
But they have that. They have the veteran point guard, Connor. They have the veteran point guard.
It also helps if you have a good coach to pair with the veteran point guard. Plus, you can play the veteran point guard card all you want. He has never played in the Big Ten before, so he will struggle.
That's true.
He will struggle.
We'll see. That is a big jump coming from mid-major to the Big Ten. It is. So we'll see what happens. But I think at the end of the day, Maryland and Illinois are pretty interchangeable. Right now I have Maryland with the upper hand a little bit.
I totally disagree.
That's fine. That's
crazy. That's a crazy statement you just said.
Well, in my opinion, they are, because I think losing Io is a bigger deal than people are giving credit for. I think Illinois has a good roster. They do. I was in love with them last year. I was the only one backing them. Obviously, I took a heel turn this year. There's no bias
supporting them because of Ty and what he said about their team.
Wrong. There was a lot of stuff that made a decision in that. Ty saying that, I thought it was funny, and it plays a part for sure, but mostly Orlando and Chin. Mostly that.
We are going to find out how good of a coach Underwood is.
Yes, we are, because his roster is this is the perfect, if a coach is good, he will succeed with this roster. But it's not the best that he's had. Like, it's not bad, but it's definitely not the worst, but it's not the best. He has to run an offense through Kofi. He has a ton of defenders surrounding him. But where's the scoring going to come from? Curbelo as your
Kofi?
Curbelo as a number 2 option in the offense is I can't get with that. I can't get with that at all.
Let's get your top 4 here, because you're going to hate where I have Illinois.
Oh, no. Like, you can rank them high. That's fine. I have 4. Maryland's 4. I have Michigan at 3.
Oh.
Ohio State at 2. Purdue at 1. Different these top 4s are about. There's not going to be one similarity in these top 4.
None. Literally none. Purdue is at 4 for me. Ohio State is at 3. I have Illinois at 2 and Michigan at 1.
Big believer in Illinois. Let's hear it.
No,
Big
I'm
believer
not,
in
though.
Illinois.
I'm really not.
So you just think this is going to be a down year for the Big Ten?
Oh, yeah. I've been all over. I've been saying that since the beginning. I think Illinois and Ohio State are interchangeable. I think they're very similar. They're going to be 2 and 3. Purdue, actually 2, 3, and 4. Honestly, taking my Purdue bias out of it, those 3 are that I like it. I like I think Michigan's the clear favorite, but the next 3 teams after that, I think they could finish anywhere from 2 to 4.
I think 3 through 1. I think 1 through 3. Sorry, that was a weird way to put it. I think they're like within inches of each other. I think they are. I think Michigan, Ohio State, and Purdue, I think they're within inches of each other. Obviously, maybe I should put like Illinois and Maryland are that close with each other too. I don't know who to put ahead of one another. I just like Maryland a little bit more. As of right now, I like them a little bit more. I just do.
What is to like? Did you watch them play last year? I don't think they're good. Yes,
I did.
Indiana beat them last year.
Yeah.
That should say everything.
But they had one of the best off seasons of any team in the Big Ten.
That is not true.
That is
not true.
I would say Indiana, Maryland, and Purdue was a lot of retention, but in Michigan.
Are we counting retention in that?
No, I don't know. That's why I didn't include Purdue.
I mean, I guess they're 4th. I mean, the Big Ten was pretty non-existent in the portal, so there wasn't a lot of change.
I mean, Michigan secured Devontae Jones.
Michigan was good.
That was good. I'm serious. I think the Fats Russell pickup was huge. I think the Curtis Wuhab addition was pretty big as well. So that is my reasoning behind it. I think they have more scoring than Illinois, so that's why I'm putting them ahead. Illinois lost their number 1 option, man. It's gonna be hard to come back from that. If Kofi has to take on a much bigger role. I know they promised him that, obviously, but let's see how he does as the number 1 option. Let's see how he does. I think he could do well. I think there's a chance he wins Big Ten Player of the Year. I think he's probably the favorite right now. I think he is.
I would say so.
But let's see, man. Let's see. But the teams I wanted to get into is my top 3, if you're okay with that. Purdue, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Yes.
We touched on Purdue for a while. I think they're going right now. I have them at number 1. That's because I think they have the best roster. I don't think their coaching is the best in the Big Ten by any means. And I'm saying that for your sake, so your head doesn't pop off of your torso. I like this team a lot. Brandon Newman is coming back at big.
God, come on,
big sophomore season incoming. Jaden Ivey, I think, is the best guard in the Big Ten. You disagree, but I definitely think that. Obviously, Travion Williams is coming back for his 19th season with the Purdue Boilermakers. Zach Edey, dude, it's just their whole team is back. And they lost North Texas, yes. but they were a damn good team and down the stretch last year. They were until that game.
I were they a good team? I mean, they were fine.
I think what this team is going to run on is Jaden Ivey and how he progresses.
I agree to a certain extent, but I don't think that they were really. I mean, this is a big jump that people were predicting.
Yeah, huge
for them.
Huge jump.
Because let's see what they finished last year. No, I clicked the wrong thing.
They weren't high in the seeding in the tournament, were they?
I want to say they were 4.
Maybe they
were. They 4?
Maybe they were.
I can't remember. Last year they finished 18-10 last year.
Yeah.
Do we realize how significant of a jump they're going to have to take to win the conference?
Dude, I'm serious. For them to do this, Jaden Ivey has to play on an All-American level next year. I think he can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he will. I think he can. After what he showed this summer. I know we're not talking about the newcomer list anymore. I'm telling you, he did this. He made this jump with Team USA. He showed that he could be one of the best players in the country. He did. So I'm bought in from an unbiased standpoint. I'm not a Purdue fan. This could bite me in the ass. This could. But I'm putting my trust into Jaden Ivey leading this Purdue Boilermakers team to the number 1 seed in this conference.
I just can't trust them on the road.
That's fine.
They're great at home. It's honestly one of the
it's one of the weirder things.
It should be talked about more. Home court advantage for Purdue, especially over the years.
Yeah.
It's not talked about enough. But it's probably not talked about enough because nobody realizes it, because they go 11-1 at home last year, but then they go 5-6 on the road.
Right.
So I don't think that's now, again, they were kind of young last year, but not really. I mean, they should have had some good leaders.
Their core was freshmen, like Travion, obviously, but their core were freshmen, like Brandon Newman, Jaden Ivey, Zach Edey. They were freshmen. Now they're back for
Eric Hunter, dude. No, junior point guard, Travion Williams Jr., like Isaiah Thompson. I can't remember if he was a junior or sophomore. Like they were young. They had some newcomers, but they weren't. It's not like they lacked leadership.
No,
and at times Travion was not a good leader last year, which I don't know who the leader is going to be for them.
It has to be Ivy. I'm telling you, it has to be Ivy. If he's ready to step into that spot, hot take, he can play himself into a lottery pick. Like, he is one of those players that he could play himself into being a lottery pick if he has the year that people are expecting. So that is what I am setting Purdue's expectations at. You should like that, because when I set expectations for a team, they almost never hit those expectations.
Yes, I love this.
So you should like that. So let's move on to Ohio State. They're my second best team in the Big Ten, or not second best roster. I think they'll finish second in the Big Ten next year. Here's why. I'm going to spoil another thing that I have. Is that cool if I spoil one of the awards? And it will be kind of okay. EJ Liddell wins Big Ten Player of the Year. Okay. He has seriously an ungodly season. This team outperforms what they're supposed to do, because I don't think the roster is great. I don't. They brought in some good transfers. They brought in Joey Brunk. I'm not citing him, but Kyle Young is back. Like, they have a solid team coming back. Zed Key is back. That would be a big X factor in their defense and everything. But EJ Liddell, it's a lot of the pressure taken off, from the scoring. Dwayne Washington was a big part of their scoring last year. EJ Liddell averages 20 and 10 this season, Big Ten Player of the Year. And they get to the second seed. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I really don't. I think Liddell is very, very good. I think he's very good.
And I don't think enough people know that he's very good.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah,
I will admit that. It was between him and who I picked for Player of the Year. It was one of those two, and it's just because of where I think they were going to finish in the standings. Like, I have Dickinson winning it, and it's just because Michigan's number one. I have Juwan Howard winning Coach of the Year just because
I have Chris Holtman winning Coach of the Year. I got Chris Holtman winning Coach of the Year because he outperformed his expectations. He leads them to this 2 seed. I know I'll get hate from all the Indiana fans that listen to this if I pick a Painter to be, my Coach of the Year. So I'm not.
I would never do that.
So I'd be walking into a bloodbath if I did that.
You can't, because the expectations for them are so high. It's
exactly.
It's going to be impossible for him to meet them.
Right. Exactly. So I'm not going to do that. I have Chris Holtmann winning just because of that. And then Michigan. Let's talk about Michigan. Everybody knows
You don't like them.
I do not like Michigan. And that's fine.
Kentucky's scared to play them.
Yeah, I was very upset when they opted out of that game because I would have been very passionate before and after that game, no matter the outcome. So
Yes.
I was upset when Kentucky opted out of that game. I didn't read too much into why they did. I was just kind of upset about it. Michigan is probably them and Purdue. They might have the best roster in the Big Ten. Hunter Dickinson, obviously back. You've had some strong things to say about him and Trey Jackson Davis, who's better, blah, blah, blah. Let's not get into that right now. They're bringing in Caleb Houston. Probably, I think he is the top ranked freshman coming to the Big Ten, correct?
Ooh, yes. I think so.
Yeah, I think he's numbers like 6, 7, 8 in the country. He's coming into the Big Ten. He's going to be a big time addition for the Michigan Wolverines. I don't believe Juwan Howard has coached a player like that with Michigan yet. So it will be interesting to see how he kind of does that because he is been big in the veteran game, like, coaching up. I know Dickinson is not a veteran, but he plays like a veteran. So I'm just going to call him a veteran because he should be, and he will be soon. Obviously, their point guard from last year that I always screw up his name. You got to tell me it.
What was it, Mike Smith?
Yes, him. I for some odd reason I always call him something that is not his name. Isaiah Livers, obviously last year, so he's done well with a lot of vet leadership. Isaiah Todd opted out on him last year, so we couldn't have the experience of coaching a freshman like that. So it will be interesting to see how he's implemented in the offense. And Devontae Jones may make this team run. He's their hot and cold. It's literally a buzzword, veteran point guard. And that's who he is, a kid out of Coastal Carolina, averaged 17 a game last year. Huge, huge, huge addition to the Michigan Wolverines. So they're your favorite in the Big Ten. Let's hear about it.
Like you just said, I think Devontae Jones is better than what Mike Smith was for them last year. I think Mike Smith was good, filled their role nicely. I think Jones probably gives them a little bit more of a scoring option. He's not like a true point guard, though, I don't think. So he and Eli Brooks coming back, I mean, that's big for them. I mean, they have two guys that are fifth-year players, fourth or fifth-year players, which is huge for them. Yeah. That's going to help. They're going to get Caleb Houston in good spots, make the game easy for him. Dickinson makes the game easy for him as well, because he's going to draw a lot of attention. I mean, they're solid. I think their depth is a little bit less
shaky
than what it used to be. I like Brandon Johns too. He's a senior. I mean, this team is old. They are an old veteran team. Musa Diabate is another one that they got.
Yes, that's true. I forgot.
He's going to be big for them because behind Brandon Johns and Hunter Dickinson, there's not a lot there.
There's not much. And I think there's something to bringing in guys like Caleb Houston, Diabate. Houston can run the four, like you can play that big man spot. There's something to playing behind guys like Dickinson and Johns because they'll be able to teach a little bit about, what it's like to be a veteran, what tendencies you have to, teach them some stuff about the game. And that's going to lead to helping Diabate probably more than Houston, because Diabate is an incredibly raw prospect. And I'll be interested to see how that translates to their game. I'm not saying Michigan's bad. I'm not going to go on a Michigan hate tour like I did last year. I think they have a good, solid roster.
Let me give a comparison for you.
Okay.
And this helps. I think they're going to be a good regular season team. I don't know if they make a run in the tournament. Mm-hmm. This team reminds me of Kansas last year.
Yeah.
Old backcourt.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Big McCormick, Dickinson, very similar. Same thing. If Dickinson gets in foul trouble, they're hurting. Like it's not going to be good for them. Caleb Houston, he kind of reminds me of the Jalen Wilson role and what they need from him. I think he's going to provide that more than what Kansas got last year, but there's a lot of similarities with those two teams.
No, I like that a lot. But they can run into some serious matchup problems. Like there is obvious. I think the thing that Michigan had last year that is not returning is they could match up against any team in the country last year. And I firmly believe that they had guys at every position. I think, like you said, they're a little bit weak on depth this year. It'll be interesting to see. It's a kind of the Fats Russell, Devontae Jones thing. Like they're kind of in the same role. We'll see how they translate to a bigger conference. I think obviously there's more pressure on Fats Russell's shoulders to kind of show up and provide for the team because Michigan has a little bit more around him, but like there's some obvious holes in this Michigan team, and I am excited to see how they persevere through that. Maybe they do good. Maybe I swallow my words and call Juwan Howard a good coach, but I don't see that happening in the near future. So onto the awards. Player, obviously, my player of the year, EJ Liddell. Connor, remind people, Hunter Dickinson, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Coach of the year, mine was Chris Holtman. His was Juwan back-to-back coach of the year.
Yes.
You feel that? You feel that coming?
Yeah, I do.
No voter fatigue or anything? Okay.
He's that good, man. I think he's that good. And I love it because everybody just kind of went after him, and kind of hoping the same happens to Mike Woodson. So we'll see. Maybe Mike Woodson surprises people when he's my second choice for this. By the way,
he's number 2.
When they finish top 4, is this surprising people?
Is this on every award? It's like coach of the year, runner up Mike Woodson, player of the year, runner up Trace Jackson Davis. They're just an all runner up team. Gotcha.
Freshman of the year,
runner up. That's perfect. So let's get into freshman of the year. Mine is Caleb Houston. I do like what you said, the Jalen Wilson type deal. I think he's a great player. He's the highest ranked freshman coming into the Big Ten. Obviously, the Big Ten doesn't really pride itself on bringing in, 5-star top 5 talents, which is
they did until Michigan State fumbled the bag. But
that's true. Marvin's room is just blaring in Tom Izzo's office. I forgot about that. But player of the year or freshman of the year for you?
Bryce McGowan from Nebraska.
Really?
Yep.
I would love to hear more about that.
I thought that would shock you. Look, I think he's going to potentially by the end of the year be that number 1 option for them. And his stats are going to be so good.
Just so inflated, just incredibly inflated.
It's going to be impossible not to pick him.
Yeah.
A lot of like you said, Caleb Houston, he's going to be an important player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the stats will show that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair. That's fair. But I think he's such a good player. There's a chance he could, by the end of the year, become that number 2 option on Michigan. And
absolutely,
when you're on a winning team, that helps in the voting for sure. And I think he could be a guy that gets all around stats, like not just points. He could he could get like games where he has 12, 8, and 6. And I think that'll be enough to win freshman of the year in this conference. Other guys though that we can talk about, Tamar Bates, obviously he could have a big year, and I'm being serious. I'm not being facetious. Can I say that word one time? Facetious. Yeah, can I say that word one time? All right, Tamar Bates, yes, he's going to have a big role on Indiana's roster, and I think he is a very good player. So I think him, Max Christie is another guy that I was thinking about. McGowan's, I don't know. There's a lot of guys coming in. Brandon Posinski from Illinois. If he gets in that starting lineup at some point and he shows how good of a scorer he is, because there's a reason Kentucky was recruiting him. He was getting offers from Kansas as well. He could show it off. That was just my dark horse pick.
Back to Illinois for a second, real quick. I think that they are going to have a way better offense than people think. I think their shooting is going to be really, really good. Like, I think they're going to have some lights out shooters. They got Luke Good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Posinski and him, man, those two, along with Curbelo, Trent Frazier, they got DeMonte Williams to come back.
DeMonte Williams really showed off his improved
last year. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think that as long as Curbelo showed those flashes, I think, and they're going to have the depoy down in the paint. So good segue for my defensive player of the year.
You know what's funny? So when you said they're going to have that depoy, I was a little bit upset because I thought you stole my player and then you didn't. So that just shows that Illinois is that good on defense. Like, they are that great.
They're going to have a good defense. Yes.
Because here's what I thought about. And you kind of pushed me in the right direction. I was going to put Curbelo.
Yeah.
Because he's not a great defender, but he's going to have those steals, those stats, because he hustles his asses off. I called him Spaz last year, and he still is Spaz, unless he's calmed down. I don't know. But you pushed me in the direction of Trent Frazier, and I like that a lot better. So I picked Trent Frazier. I think he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the Big Ten. The one thing that will hurt him is his stats won't back that up. Your guy is probably going to do it, but you can talk about that a bit more.
I mean, is there a chance Kofi wins them both, player of the year and depoy? Like, I think that's possible.
That is an absolute possibility.
And if he does win player of the year, I think that almost directly correlates to depoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I am very confident that he will have a good year. That's why I have him so high.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to keep him from that is Underwood. I'm not a big fan of him. I don't like him. He just looks like I don't know. I just don't like him.
Yeah, I know you don't. It's a weird thing. I thought I was the one with Illinois beef. I thought I kind of took the heel turn.
I've always had it. Went to one game there and Indiana lost. Ever since then, I just hate Illinois.
Yeah.
But it's all last year. You liked him so much last year. It
pushed you in the other direction. Yes. Dude,
So.
Which is weird now that my hand is forced into not liking them.
And now I'm the other way. Now I think they're going to be really good.
Exactly. Like
flipping.
I'm forced into not liking them. And this is where our fandom kind of comes out. Like, I like to stay as unbiased as possible. Connor does too, but it comes out each episode, and it's pretty obvious when it does. This right here is like, I have them at 5. I think that is where I want them. Maryland and them are so close. I'm not lying. I can't make a decision, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it.
Oh, not even close.
I'm going to keep it, but yeah, like, it's just, I have to not like them. And it's all because we took their coaches. We come to your city and we take your coaches. And then we have our best player say that he knows nobody on your roster.
He's your best player?
No, probably not. I don't know. I seriously don't know, because, like, well, all right, this is Kentucky talk now. Keon has to make a jump to be our best player. Kellen Grady has a chance at it. Ty has the highest ceiling on this team. So that's I don't know. Like, everybody's talking about Ty Washington like he is our best player. So it's going to be hard for me to say he's not. But I did say Keon is going to be third team All-American this year. So I'll run with that.
You can't back off of that yet.
I'll run with that. I'm running with that.
Good.
Ty will be second team. I'm playing. He will not be second team All-American. That is not a take I'm ready to make yet. But let's get out of here. Yeah, I mean, Big Ten talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Connor, my takes weren't too crazy, were they?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
A little,
All right,
a little crazy with Maryland. Indiana's a little too low, but it's clear who the top 7 to 8 teams are.
Yeah.
And then there's like the next 2 or 3.
There's a couple.
Like,
there's like 3 tiers. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like 50 feet of crap.
Yeah.
And then there's the bottom 4, maybe bottom 5.
Dude,
I don't know. You have Wisconsin in the bottom.
I think
those 5 teams suck.
They suck. Like I kind of like I have to run with Northwestern. I think Northwestern is going to do what they did last year. I think they're good. Yes. I think they're just good enough to like run with like I need to look at their non-conference, but I think they're just good enough to like run with the ranked team, and then like maybe lose by 2, and then everybody goes crazy about them. So
yes,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll see.
Watch out for that. But here's my disclaimer: when that happens, definitely going to make a hot take about Northwestern, and yes. I will be burned. so like I'm just calling out what I know I'm going to do. But Connor, thank you for joining me. I had a good time. We'll be back probably in a couple days with what, SEC? You want to do SEC?
SEC or ACC, wherever we want to go next.
All right, yeah, we'll go SEC. I might try to get a guest on for that one. So I don't know yet. We'll see. Thank you for joining me, seriously, and love you guys.